Linda. Hi, I'm Linda, and I want to tell you that the suggestions that I'm giving in this video have helped several people that were non-vaccinated to get over symptoms of COVID-19 and several people that were vaccinated to get over symptoms. And my suggestion is to hit it hard early, to try to work hard early with early symptoms to get better. Now there's the Swiss protocol, which says take zinc and quercetin, and I know a couple that did that, and they had fever, high fever, 2 days, but then did get better. Now that's with Delta variant. It was in the summer around July of 2021. So we think it was the Delta variant. This was in Washington State. So there's a possibility that if you let it get somewhat bad, maybe you'll get more antibodies. I don't know if that's the reasoning, because in this video, there's more nutrients that I believe can help people get over symptoms quicker. So let's get on with it then. Well, before I do that, I want to say that recently these some of the things in this video that have been tried and people have gotten better with, so we believe this is for the Delta variant. So one of the people is a guy who's age 40, and he does not look like the picture of health. He is overweight, and his doctor even said he had too many health conditions to where his doctor didn't advise that he even got the vaccine, either one or two of them for the COVID-19. So recently, and I'm making this in November 10th, 2021, recently I found out he did get COVID, tested positive for COVID. I got the information to him. Now I haven't checked yet, but I'm pretty sure he and his he had some roommates might have helped him get some of these things, which would have been really new to his body, and his body did respond. And 2 weeks later, I have seen him walking around in the grocery store looking like his normal self. So so that helped. Okay, I'm breaking in to add a segment, and it's January 16th, 2022, because I need to clarify that the guy I was just talking about, who's age 40, that helps with the community dinners for low-income people, and a lot of people are homeless, very needy, that go to these dinners, he didn't get any of the information. He didn't try anything new, he said, and I really believe, he's told me before he likes pizzas and beer, so he got better. So he didn't do any of this, but he was working at helping the community dinners for the needy. So that is an important thing to keep in mind. And he actually doesn't read the Bible. He just sort of does it as a kind of I think it's also a way to get good food. And it's sort of a fellowship time, but he really isn't, evidently he's doing what God wants, even if he doesn't read the Bible or even necessarily have an interest in reading the Bible, but so I just really wanted to add that. So that is an important thing to consider, because a lot of people have been afraid to go out because of the all the different variants and stuff. And so anyway, somebody age 40 who does not have the best health at all is surviving, has survived with the Delta variant, and all he was doing differently was working at these dinners. Every week he helps out. And I've had some mild symptoms that seem to be COVID-like. Now, I do know a woman too that she was not able to get. I was going to say that I've used these and have felt better. Um, Now I've worked hard with these. With the I used every time I've gotten any kind of symptoms, I uh, try to do the frequencies for defense, and sometimes I also do the oregano oil, oregano. It says P73, and I'm not sure about that part of it. Like, is that a genetically engineered substance? So, but anyway, I'm just saying I've gotten better from symptoms. I try to hit it hard early. I just wanted to say that I've gotten a headache a few times now since November, where I'm talking with people, and two people were non-vaccinated, and three had three different kinds of vaccines. We talked for about an hour in a prayer group meeting, so we were about 15 feet apart in a circle. And usually we would wear masks, but sometimes we didn't, and that was actually because the pastor didn't wear a mask, so then that made other people not wear masks more likely. And then but anyway, so over time, an hour of that, I two different times when people weren't wearing masks, I think it was actually even three, then I got a headache for the, lasted a few days, like around 3 days after. And it was a mild headache, but it bothered me because it's like a symptoms of, could be the spike proteins that have the messenger RNA in them. So anyway, so I didn't use the oregano because I don't want to make if it was the virus, I don't want to make that stronger. And so, but I didn't use the frequencies for defense the last time, and I still got better. So I just, if I get a mild headache that might even be from spike proteins people are exhaling, I just attack that like I would attack the virus, or just build my immune system as best I can. And I did use zinc and quercetin and vitamin C, have protein, lean protein. So I did a lot of things that I have in this video. So there's another thing that I want to add in here, and that's that over time, if people are having, maybe they better look at the amount, like if they have zinc for things in a nutrition textbook that I have from like 93 probably, it said 15 milligrams is the normal daily requirement for men, and 12 milligrams is the normal daily, it's called recommended daily allowance for women, milligrams. So for women, so you might want to look into that. So if you're having, 50 milligrams of zinc all the time, that may be too much. And I've learned that it can make your copper not at the right level. So I've been just trying to have, like, I also learned cooked spinach is better. If it's raw, then I think that also inhibits maybe the zinc. So, look into that sort of thing. So just go back to try to get things from the foods. I've been just also using, other foods with zinc in it. Oh, and one other thing I learned is if anybody's doing pork from pig, meat from pigs, bacon or anything, a lot of this pig meat is from genetically engineered pigs called Enviro pig. You can look that up I found it's on Wikipedia, and they put the genome of E. coli bacteria with the pig genome and genome of mouse. Maybe the whole genome or part of the genome, but I think they're trying to disgust people enough to not eat some of these meat items, which there's big impact to the environment with the meat. Supposedly, the EnviroPig is going to cut down on pollution by less phosphorus, I believe. But yeah, so you know, so and the other meat that's really helpful to eliminate is beef, because now as the world starts liking hamburgers in big countries with lots of population like Brazil, Russia, China, there's more demand, and they're cutting down rainforests, they're burning it down in the Amazon, and there's was like 95,000 fires last I learned. So yeah, so they're making to grow cattle for cattle farming and for soy. So also, so soy is another one to like make sure you know where you're getting it, and also look for organic soy. But yeah, I just wanted to put that in there about to try to get your balance, your nutrients balanced. Don't overdo supplements, because we don't always know what the supplements, who made them. A lot of times when it says citric acid, that can be from corn, and that can be from genetically engineered corn that gets shipped to China, and they turn it into that and put it back in our supplements. So we just really need to know, even making that stuff more locally, making that more locally, probably state by state, know what's in your supplements. And another woman who was not able to get vaccinated too, because her doctor said she almost she did faint, I believe, with an earlier vaccine, and he would said she couldn't handle this one. She said she got a headache for a few days after being around some vaccinated people, and I believe they were friends, maybe family, talking probably without masks. And now, so I know 3 people that happened to. So there is a possibility that there's shedding, that when people who got vaccinated speak, they could be giving out some of the spike proteins. Who knows? Are they also making messenger RNA proteins? So now that could affect babies. If baby's crying and they're around somebody who's vaccinated, you might try putting a fan to blow it away from the baby towards the vaccinated person, or wearing a mask. So just we need studies for this. Just keep that in mind. So these are some of my experiences about health over 20 years fighting allergens. So that's me and some family members, and a college class in nutrition, which is more than most medical doctors. And I've taken pre-med classes. I've had 30 years of personal inquiry, study, and experiences with natural and alternative remedies and therapies. And I have had training as a bioacoustic research associate with Sherry Edwards and her associates. So I've taken 3 classes with Sherry Edwards. I got the highest level I got to was the technician level. And I did some practicums related earlier in the 90s to at the other level of practitioner, but I didn't get certified as a practitioner. Okay, so then, so here's the first thing. My thinking is reduce, cleanse sinus mucus. And these are things I have found help me and some others, and have learned to do over the years. Why? So the virus doesn't go down your throat and get into your lungs. How? Now, avoid sugar and dairy, soy, pollens, and allergens for a few days to see if these contribute to congestion. Have some chicken broth, if possible, free-range chickens fed organic food. Take a fairly hot shower. The steam can reduce congestion some. Bathe sinuses in saline solution. Look at a recipe for making saline solution, or try this. Around half a cup distilled water or filtered water, or it can be boiled in cooled water or tap water if you don't have the other options. Then add 1/4 teaspoon salt. Let that salt dissolve in the water. Use a straw that bends at the bottom. put the straw L-shaped down into the water and keep your finger over the top opening of the straw until your head is tilted back. Put the saline into one sinus, then tilt your head so the saline goes into the other sinus. Then let it drain out the downhill sinus. Do this on the other side too, and repeat both of this into both sinuses a few times. So that's going to help a lot. Okay, then I have a asterisk. Just a second about that. So I have an asterisk at the bottom related to the dairy, avoiding dairy. These things that can cause congestion sometimes. So I say that there are plant-based calcium tablets, and in Dr. Bernard Jensen's book, The Chemistry of Man, he wrote that vitamin D2 is not healthy. We should look for vitamin D3. Now, see, a lot of the alternative dairy products will say D2, but so I need to look in. I haven't found the truth on this yet. I don't know, but possibly D2 I thought was from plant-based. So, but anyway, look for vitamin D3 if you're going to get in these plant-based calcium tablets. If you're, avoiding the dairy, to try to make sure your sinuses are in good shape. And yeah, so I really, the D2 can be in things like hemp, oat, and rice milks. Okay, so then I just said, then maybe plant-based calcium tablets will be good, and humane alternatives to cow milk and dairy products. In May of 2020, I had a really possible exposure because my daughter was around somebody who's a friend her age whose mom had COVID, and I had gotten some of this information to the mom. Anyway, at 4 in the morning, my daughter had sat on my couch, and then I happened to sleep on the couch that night. At 4 in the morning, I woke up with a weird persistent cough, just a weird persistent cough. And so I had wheatgrass juice and I had some grapefruit at the time. Those two things, the cough immediately stopped, but then it came back maybe 20 minutes later. So I did those same things again, and I started doing the other nutrients, and then the music, the frequencies for defense. And I actually also did this original whole video so all day long I was also listening to other music, because the original video has music with it that I hypothesized would help. So the wheatgrass juice is good to have on hand. You can buy it in the powder form. And as I say here, I understand wheatgrass juice has something like 102 of the 107 known nutrients our bodies need. They might also be in the correct proportion. So One Health Ministry program, that's actually the Optimum Health Institute. There's one in Austin, Texas, and one in San Diego, California. They suggest participants have about 6 ounces a day, in addition to other organic sprouted seeds, vegetables, and fruits. Well, that's a detoxification center. It's a specific program, and they are not eating any meat there or any grains, only fresh fruits and vegetables and sprouts and seeds. So that is one way vegans can make sure they get enough nutrients. So anyway, it's just a possibly good remedy if you're sick at all for anything. The following are what I understand may also be helpful nutrients. So these are some nutrients I have used to boost my immune system, and also I've told other people and they've used them, and they've seemed to have good results. Also with COVID and COVID-19, the Delta variant. Okay, that is mostly around us at this time. Okay, around where I live. So vitamin C and quercetin. So half an orange or grapefruit and eat the pith. the white inside the rind. This has quercetin, that's what I understand. And repeat when symptoms surface. Taking vitamin C in the evening gives power to the immune cells. I've learned that in the past. Besides citrus fruits, quercetin is in onions, apples, grapes, berries, broccoli, citrus fruits, cherries, tea, and capers. This is what I've heard, and I heard that from Sherry Edwards with the Sound Health, soundhealthoptions.com. And then I put in here, make sure you are not sensitive or allergic to any of these. I have found that people don't tend to have serious allergies if they haven't eaten much of a certain kind of food. And the other way is don't, if you rotate the foods, don't have only the same thing every day of the week. Maybe have one thing 2 days, skip a day, or skip 2 days or 3 days, have it again. Okay, having vitamin C at night helps immune cells have fuel. I kind of mentioned that earlier in the evening. Okay, then I put in here, statin meds may say to avoid grapefruit, I've heard. So make sure people know that if they're having statin. Okay, and then learn if you have some food sensitivities or allergies. The Meridian Valley Lab with the Tahoma Clinic has a blood test for IgG and IgE foods and herbs. I have benefited from this blood test. I've found I can rotate immune reactive foods since I have gotten gluten gliadin out of my diet. So gluten is in wheat, rye, and barley. And so when people start getting food sensitivities, this is hypothesized by me and others. I've seen it in just actually in my family from looking at early tests of young ones versus mine when I was older. It appears that that's the root cause of a lot of these allergies, food allergies, leaky intestine, and it could also be the hybridized. We believe it's a hybridized wheat, rye, and barley that has a lot more gluten in it, and it causes too much zonulin, which causes leaky intestine. Also, there can be glycosidates put on these fields of these grains, may not get washed off well. So another thing, nutrients are proteins. Wheatgrass juice powder, you can make it from the powder with a half teaspoon in 6 ounces of water. It's easy to shake it up if you have a jar, and they are in balance, like the nutrients are in balance and easy to absorb this way. And then just repeat it when symptoms surface. And make sure to get foods with the protein cysteine. This converts to glutathione. Okay, I want to say too that glutathione you can also get from exercise. So let me also, I understand we get glutathione from exercising. So here's some more important defense nutrients that I try to have around. Selenium. You could have 2 Brazil nuts. For example, have them not more than 2 days in a row, and then have some other source, or even nothing for 2 days, and that is so you don't get immune reaction to the nuts if these nuts seem to be okay for you at all in the beginning. So then also there used to be Wright salt by Dr. Jonathan Wright, medical doctor, and that had selenium in it. I'm not sure if they're still making that or not. So that's at the Tahoma Clinic dispensary. And then trace mineral drops might have a little bit in there, and brewer's yeast or nutritional yeast is supposed to have selenium. We used to put that on popcorn. I would not recommend popcorn as much, but you can mix it with a little butter even, or olive oil, and put it on like a thin rice cracker. They make really thin rice crackers now. Then have it, you can also put it just on brown rice too, and then have it daily in very small amounts, and from birth to 10 to 20 micrograms, for example, and up to 30 micrograms for age 7 to 10. I looked that up probably in my college nutrition book. We don't need much, but make sure to get some. So then, and it may be in some of the foods you're already having. It is one that people tend not to have. That's what Dr. Jonathan Wright found, but it might be in a lot of vitamins now, so you might be getting enough. And there is a free nutritional software now to get from the soundhealthoptions.com, and that might be able to tell you, just give you an idea. It's research. It's under the category of hypothesis, but it's also free, non-invasive way. Once you get a microphone, you can test, and you might have an idea if you have too much or too little. I'm not sure she tests that trace mineral, but it's really worth doing that. Okay, vitamin E, wheat germ from wheat germ oil is one way. I found that I coughed from wheat germ, and I have a wheat sensitivity, so I don't use this source of vitamin E. And then another source is avocados or avocado paste. I also believe it's in sunflower seeds, so check on that. Soft gel supplements, D-alpha tocopherol or other mixed tocopherols. And some more nutrients I try to have around. Vitamin D, it's used in most of our organs. This is very important. It's actually also a hormone, and it's, I think, at the basis for hormones. So if you're not sleeping well and you have low vitamin D, that just getting your vitamin D level up to normal might help you with sleeping better. Okay, we get it from the sun. And I said use sunscreen if not around the equator, and do research about if it's still necessary if you're dark skinned. And so anyway, you're going to need more you're going to need more sun if you're dark skinned too. So also research to find the non-toxic types of sunscreen. And then cod liver oil, some is lemon flavored, and there's also lanolin. You can get it, some is made from lanolin from sheep's wool. I don't know if you need to find out if the sheep are genetically engineered or not, but anyway, we try to look for non-GMO nutrients and supplements. GMO stands for genetically modified organism, which means the DNA has been altered to sometimes combine plant and bacteria together, genes from, different things together. At the genetic level, it all looks alike, but we don't know everything. Humans don't know everything. So, okay, vegetarian D3 calciferol. This is the more humane version. And then see what naturopathic doctors suggest for enough vitamin D. 2,500 international units a day if a person is not outside too much. 5,000 international units have been suggested in some cases by some naturopathic doctors if the person is not getting much sun. And yeah, I've heard that in the winter above LA, the latitude of Los Angeles in the US, people should probably be supplementing for vitamin D if they're not getting outside a lot in the sun and they're fair skinned. And if they're darker skinned, they need to really check and be outside more, or just check their levels. Omega-3 and 6 oils, these tend to help reduce inflammation symptoms. And these can be found in walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds. So you can soak those in water. And hemp heart seeds, cod liver oil. Some is lemon flavored, as I said. And here I said, check for IgG and IgE, food sensitivities and allergies. A nutritionist at the Tahoma Clinic said, as I remember, they have found that if people who are found to be reacting to gluten in wheat, rye, and barley are strict to not eat gluten, make sure to get folic acid or folate. That's two different forms. One is a natural and one synthetic, I believe. And dairy, they tend not to have as bad of other food sensitivities or allergies. So if you don't eat gluten and dairy, a lot of people don't have as the other sensitivities are not as bad. They don't progress. That's my experience. If you figure that out early, you won't get worse and worse with the allergy thing. You might actually get better over time, but I don't know. Also, you may have a lifelong allergy to what you develop allergies to with food. Very long time allergy. It's something that can be checked. Maybe you check it every several years, maybe even every 5 years. Okay, know what foods cause you immune reactivity. This is again back to this testing. So this is helping your immune system by making sure you don't have ongoing inflammatory things going on in your system. Okay, that's the IgG. And only place I know that combines these two is the Meridian Valley Lab in Tukwila, Washington. But just finding the IgG one out, you will get to the root cause. You'll find a lot of things out. The IgE is what I look at that E like emergency. To me, that's a later stage. That's when you didn't catch it early, and that's what the allopathic medical doctors, a lot of the regular medical doctors, quote unquote regular, the ones in the hospitals and clinics that are not naturopathic doctors, they'll check the IgE, and so they may not see things come up and catch things early. So things are already where you're having trouble breathing by the time you get an IgE immune response food sensitivity test. So that's still, you could do that too, but just don't forget this one, IgG one. Okay, so, and by the way, this is the same, that's the same antibody marker that indicates you ran across COVID. So that's a separate test, but that's what that is all about. One may need to get gluten gliadin out of one's diet. The Meridian Valley, I said that already. In general, naturopathic doctors often know about the IgG test, and allergy doctors know about the IgE test. As I see things, the IgE test is a late stage test, and the IgG test can catch immune reactions earlier, and that's important. The IgG test can catch gluten gliadin way earlier. That's in wheat, rye, and barley, which seem to me to be at the root of the other sensitivities or allergies. So, more defense nutrients. Zinc. There's some in pumpkin seeds. They are tastier if roasted in avocado oil with salt and red pepper seasoning. Now, I said avocado oil because you could also do, I believe, ghee doesn't smoke. You can cook in a higher temperature. I would get organic if you could. And then it's more humane to not do that with cow products. If you can do that, it's not only humane, but it helps the environment, because we're still clearing forests down to put, humans are, in in rainforests in Latin America to have cattle farms, and who knows if that's grass-fed cattle, and we don't want to support that. So if we can get away from beef that we know, unless we know it's local, and try to reduce. But avocado oil's another one that you can has a high smoke point. Is that what it's called? You can cook at high temperatures, and it's not as bad for you. But I've also found you can roast pumpkin seeds with no oil too, and that's a good way. Later, put a little olive oil on there, and maybe salt, and if you want to put red pepper seasoning or something. Okay, then you can also grind them up with gluten-free oats, and I put soy-free Earth Balance buttery spread, and maybe make a little, maybe try a little, and you can add a little honey and stevia drops for biscuit-like cookies. Now I put honey instead of regular sugar because that, I understand, is less inflammatory. And so, yeah, stevia is low sugar, but it's from a natural substance. So we think that won't create inflammatory reaction also in your body. Then if a person has a deficiency, animal foods are said to be a better source than plant foods of zinc. Foods high in zinc include oysters, beef, chicken, tofu. If you ever get tofu, with all these anyway, try to get organic. I'm just gonna, okay, oysters. Okay, I'm just suggesting this so that if you get oysters, get non-GMO, verified, in water or olive oil, and then organic, grass-fed, local beef if you're going to get it from beef, and if for chicken, get it organic, free-range chicken, and if it's tofu, get it organic, and if it's pork, get organic, humanely raised pork, or you can get hemp seeds, nuts, lentils, yogurt, oatmeal, and mushrooms as sources of zinc. The recommended daily allowance for zinc is 8 milligrams for women and 11 milligrams for men. And I put, know your food sensitivities and allergies. It may be possible to eat a quote-unquote reactive food for 1 or 2 days in a row. Just don't eat it most days. And glutathione, which I mentioned earlier, here's some more sources of it. Asparagus, avocado, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, spinach, broccoli, garlics, chives, tomatoes, cucumbers, almonds, and walnuts. I added that all these, try to get these in organic forms possible. Some are not necessary, maybe almonds and walnuts to get organic, but don't necessarily have to be organic, but this just makes it's important for the environment and also our health in general. We're trying to be, this is to improve our immune system, so for that reason too. Because if they're not organic, we don't know if we're going to get immune reactivity to any of the foods too. So again, I said know your food sensitivities. Know your food sensitivities and allergies. It may be possible to eat a quote-unquote reactive food for 1 or 2 days in a row. Just don't eat it most days. So getting an optimal sleep helps your immune system. So being asleep by 10 p.m., I have heard, has been said to help the immune cells fight at night. We can better sleep if we exercise outside in the daylight, and if we have half of a, this is what I have at night anyway, half of plant-based calcium tablet before bed, that may help with restful sleep. The reason I didn't say dairy, one is it's really not that humane to use dairy anyway. If you knew the process, the whole industry is not really humane. Um, but there's sugar in the milk too, so that sugar might wake you up. And I have seen that with younger kids really affect them. So, but it will wear off after a while. Just keep that in mind that it has the magnesium is I put this magnesium and calcium helps relax muscles and doesn't have the sugar or food immune reaction that dairy might have that keep people awake. So some people might just have a little magnesium, which is in greens. You can eat a few leaves of spinach maybe before bed too. That might help. Then vitamin D3 is essential to conduct thousands of biological processes, including hormone functions. The hormone melatonin helps with sleep. It may help with restful sleep to take vitamin D3 before bed if you didn't get outside for long enough sunlight exposure that day. Then also sleep may be improved by eating low immune response foods. Sleep may be improved by eating low immune response foods. In other words, if you're having trouble sleeping, it could be that you're having food immune responses that you didn't even know about. So again, then you can also fast or just have maybe a little rice and then have a few vegetables, just one at a time, and then as you add them, you can see if you have immune responses that way too. Because anyway, that can keep people awake if they're having this immune reactivity to foods. So I wrote, if you have trouble sleeping, rule out foods creating an internal immune response. One way to check this is by eating rice, vegetables, and adding one or more new foods each day to see if any certain foods might be raising your heart rate or keeping you awake. Or go to a naturopathic doctor or lab and ask for an IgG blood food sensitivity test. The Meridian Valley Lab of Tukwila, Washington has a combined IgG and IgE food allergy test for 90 foods. And if there are many, there is a second 90-item test that includes spices. IgE, think of the E standing for emergency. It relates to extreme food allergies. Some threaten breathing. If anyone takes the sleep hormone melatonin, make sure it is the non-GMO kind to avoid possible serious complications from this, such as death or organ problems. And I do know a woman that climbed Mount Rainier, and she might have even climbed it when she was age 50, but she took this GMO melatonin and she died. When I talked to her, she was around after 50, after she had climbed Mount Rainier, and she was having problems with her heart. She said 100 other people had problems with GMO melatonin, and I think she had died shortly after like a few years after I talked to her. So that's something to keep in mind. Well, really quick, back to the melatonin. Also, I read online by somebody who supposedly researched supplements a lot, and I've heard it somewhere else too, that if you start taking melatonin, I don't know if there's some that are synthetic and are not synthetic, so you want to look into that. They might all be synthesized, I don't know, but there may be a difference between synthesized and synthetic too. I don't know, but so the point is that if you take it, it then your body stops making it. It's a while before your body starts to be able to make hormones again if they start taking supplemental hormones. So to me, I think, why not make sure you have enough vitamin D to make the hormones you need, get your exercise, try those things first. That's just what I do, in my life, makes sense to me. And, check with your naturopathic doctor and the doctors that know a lot about hormones. There are specific ones that know about natural hormones too, and the Tahoma Clinic might know of more. That's where some of them are. Okay, so some health heroes. I put this slide in here, one of 4 slides. The God of Jacob, through Moses, guided the Israelites in ways to stay clean from disease. Then, about 2,000 years later, so the God of Jacob is a health hero. We have Jesus, another health hero. He showed how to stay clean of mal spirits, to keep one's house clean. We might infer this can mean one's body, one's physical house, meeting places, one's immediate and church family, and one's nation. Now, I want to mention with this that it is possible to get an associated bad spirit that can come along when people get any kind of illness or downward pushing kind of a force in their life. So there can be bad spirits associated with depression, possibly with the vaccine, the COVID vaccine, any vaccine, and the virus itself, but also puncturing the skin. So we just need to continue to pray for the Holy Spirit to be in our body, and we ask in the name of Jesus to command any spirits. We ask God in the name of Jesus to command any spirits, any bad spirits, out of our body. So whether you're feeling sick at all, if anybody's feeling depressed, that's not going to hurt. Let's say that. So now, I've heard this name. I don't know for sure, but this Ignaz Semmelweis, I don't know, discovered, and Louis Pasteur developed the germ theory. I only heard Louis Pasteur, but I have heard this other name mentioned. So anyway, point is, it was a health hero to notice about the germs, and so we're glad we have the germ theory. But now I also heard on his deathbed that Louis Pasteur said, I was wrong, the terrain is everything. And then I heard he didn't say that, but Claude Bernard said that. So I don't know. So the point is, somebody said the terrain is everything. So more health heroes are Bernard Jensen, who noted that plants become diseased if the soil is lacking in certain inorganic elements. And so do humans if we lack certain organic elements from plants and animals. So with this, he had a health retreat, I believe in the 1920s, and people were just getting really poor health from all kinds of things. Well, he was a chemist, and he theorized that the plants, if you had minerals in the soil and the plants took up those minerals and we eat the plants, that is a very good way humans can absorb the minerals. So that's called, they become organic when they've been converted from the soil inorganic to when we eat them in the plant form. So he was helping a lot of people with plants, but he would cook. He didn't mind cooking things because he was focused on getting the minerals. It turned out later he got prostate cancer, I believe, a form of cancer he had, and he didn't get better from it. And he was so worse and worse. He was almost to the point where he's going to die soon, laying down, really wasted away. There's a YouTube video showing him. And his wife got a doctor to come in, a friend that was a doctor that was looking into the enzymes. And it took a while to convince him because his mindset was not there. So that was the first step, getting his mindset to even try, like the fresh juiced veggie juices. It would just be the veggie and fruit juices, and probably with cancer, likes can thrive with sugar. So it was probably low sugar veggie juices, I would think. But the enzymes, it turned things around for him, and he got better, totally better. So that's how a lot of people found out about enzymes, and that's how he learned about raw foods and enzymes. So, and I guess he was in his 80s when he was learning that lesson. Or his late 70s. You can find that on YouTube video, I guess. Look it up. Then Ann Wigmore is another really big health hero. She noticed that fresh wheatgrass juice heals the epithelial cells, which are the cells that line our body. It's our skin cells, our intestinal cells, covers the organs. And I learned that it may be the ACE2 receptors are on epithelial cells. There was a guy who was just a lung doctor, and he was saying they are with the linings in the sinuses and the throat and the lungs. But it may be that the COVID can attach all over the body, and the intestines also, and the heart, or so this is epithelial cells. Okay, with it, she healed and saved her gangrene feet. She wrote a book about wheatgrass juice. So Ann Wigmore realized that wheatgrass juice helped I think she studied it or got people to study it, and they learned that it helped give the body alkalinity. And I've read that they say that it has vitamin B15, and one place I might have read B17, and that's theorized to reduce cancer. So then she demonstrated that wheatgrass juice could turn non-chemically treated hair back to the original color. She founded the Hippocrates Institute in Boston, then the Ann Wigmore Natural Health Institute on a beach of Puerto Rico. She authored many books and saw many lives transformed. Dr. Wigmore was a pioneer in the enzymes for health and raw foods lifestyle movement. And Luc Montagnier is a French virologist. He's still alive, and he won a Nobel Prize for discovering the human immunodeficiency virus. And so my understanding is that once he figured that out, that people are doing so well right now with HIV, and I think they work on their immune system so that it doesn't turn into AIDS. So we're pretty much doing the same thing, some of us trying to do that with this COVID SARS-2 virus. Yeah, he's doing some interesting work right now. I think it looks like he's looking into how the energy in water, and to me it looks like homeopathic, how those remedies work for people. So that's what some people are using this chemical bleach, but they're doing it in such a minute amount that it's just the vibration of it. Maybe that's it. I'm not sure what that whole thing is, but homeopathy, I have had personal experiences to say that really, what I've tried really helped. I tried a remedy for circulation for my toes, and they were warm when they were cold before. And another way for good circulation there, sometimes people are low in iodine or iron. That's a side note. But then it's also helped me with arnica has helped me too with in that a lot of homeopathic remedies have to do with toxins, but it's such a dilute amount that it's just the vibration. So the vibration really is very powerful. Subtle vibration of a substance in water. Drinking the water boosts your body, for example, to do the thing that would normally create the result. If you had too much of it, it would create a bruising effect. Arnica would, like maybe a soreness in the muscles, but a very mild amount makes it so that you don't have soreness, that when you put it on, it gets rid of the soreness. It's kind of interesting. Okay, some more health heroes. The Bible's David understood things from God. David wrote many psalms, which are also, we can be thinking of them as songs for praise and worship. Now science is showing us that making music and tones can be good for our physical as well as spiritual and emotional health. So, Royal Rife is another health hero. He developed a microscope with a 3-foot-long eyepiece. He noticed a virus that vibrated and preceded cancer. He played a certain frequency and the virus or organism broke up. It just looked like it dissolved. And actually, Sherry Edwards has noted she has the ability, even vocally, to make unique frequencies higher than the normal range, and she can hear almost psychically above the normal range. She has seen this. She has a picture of this sort of phenomenon happening with a frequency that she was able to just produce vocally. So, then she's another health hero. Sherry Edwards had or was working on a BA degree in dietetics when she realized she had a unique gift for hearing life tones coming from people. She found that matching the life tone appeared to be healing. She pursued a master's degree in education to research frequencies for health and to understand how to research the frequencies for health. She has had many discoveries in the past 35 years for how to perceive, and people give how to perceive tones, for how to perceive tones and give people tones that will have positive side effects, quote unquote, rather than negative side effects. Okay, here's something else that is good to try. For any time you're feeling any symptoms of, and you want to boost your immune system, but especially for COVID-19, here's some frequencies that there are frequencies in songs that might help people overcome COVID-19. Hum different tones and sing certain tones. Sherry Edwards theorizes that it may be harmful to play or sing only the specific tones of A or A sharp with this virus. However, in theory, the A or A sharp frequency may be okay to produce in conjunction with other major tones to try to overcome this virus. More information can be found on her YouTube Sound Health channel on the video called Corona Portal Demo of around February 6, 2020. And also on Vimeo, Sherry Edwards, there was a video, I think it was called Math as Medicine, something like that. But we'll probably be getting to it, but let me see if this next. Okay, see if the frequencies in the beautiful instrumental songs presented via Jill Matson's website, coronavirusdefense.org, reduces symptoms or helps you avoid getting symptoms. These may especially be helpful if a person is in COVID-19 distress, and like if it's progressed a ways or even early on, and where other things are not helping. There is a donation button. I guess there's a donation button for that. But the free album, Frequencies for Defense, is on YouTube, Jill Matson. Then you go Jill Matson channel, and then you go to her playlist and look for Frequencies for Defense. There's 18 songs there. Listen to each one at least 20 seconds, and after that, turn it off if your pulse goes up or symptoms worsen or trouble breathing, if your percent oxygen goes down, if deep inhales are not easy, or if it sounds annoying, or if you feel any twinges or side effects or diarrhea. This also happens with too much vitamin C. And these sounds are understood to mimic some nutrients, and they actually might be related to actually flowers for flower essence. So I'm not sure. You can look into it. So they shouldn't be taken too long unless symptoms are not diminishing. In that case, people might want to continue listening to them. Like in my experience, I've been able to listen to the album like at least 3 times in a day, and that may be enough anyway. Even once, even part of the album has helped me, and so I've always felt more better with like breathing deeper, for example, and sighing. That can be a good release. So that's something to keep in mind. Frequencies and health. Music in this, well, I'll have at the end I'll mention some songs that have notes that are theorized to possibly reduce symptoms of COVID-19. If you know you have COVID-19, leave a comment. Well, this is if the music that I will list at the end of this video or Jill's song seems to help or not help. Sherry seems to have found that listening after 20 seconds to any tones that are annoying is not healthy for a person. Sherry trains research associates online each month. It should be fine to listen to the music in this video, that I list at the end of this video again and again, if it is not annoying and if your heart rate and breathing are relaxed when you listen. The songs are in the keys of C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. Okay, Jill Matson and Sherry Edwards' Frequencies for Defense album may be intended to just listen to the group of them once through, like 2 or 4 times a day. Read instructions about listening to these songs. Suggestions for health and to fight or possibly prevent COVID-19. Consider to read out loud or listen to scripture passages. And here are some suggestions. Psalm 91, Psalm 119, the ABCs of God. I added Job 28, 29, 31, and 42. That's where Job gives his, he says all the things that he believed he was doing right. And around chapter 42 is where God says, yeah, you were right, and your friends were wrong that accuse you of sinning. So that tells some of the laws of God, so that can get you in atonement with God. Then read Psalms 121, 123, and 125, and thank Father God for Jesus, and ask Jesus to send the virus where he decides. Ask him to command the virus to go wherever Jesus decides it needs to go. And then listen to the YouTube series Key Bible Readings Suggested by God, starting on Eco Peace Vision or Eco Peace Christian Space Linda channel, and go to the playlist there. At either one of those, go to the playlist to find that. And then open the Bible randomly and see what messages God may have for you. Reading any passages of the Bible out loud may also help. So then invite God's Holy Spirit to help you regain your health. So these are just some suggestions. And here's some more suggestions for health. People who are used to drinking sodas should have a better edge fighting this coronavirus if they will consider finding alternative beverages. The fizz is from CO2, which is a biological waste product. Some better choices: Rejuvelac, which is a cheap probiotic sprout water drink with stress-lowering B vitamins, and immune-boosting B vitamins. It's good for snacks between meals, like 2 cups a day, not at the same time, just sip. Okay, and then soak and sprout about 1/4 cup quinoa seeds in about 4 cups filtered or distilled water for a day or day and a half, then refrigerate. It only keeps for a few days. Look for other recipes. There are probiotic drinks for sale. If one type causes gas, one can use 3 drops of oregano oil, oregano P73 variety. I notice helps, but people need to look into what is the P73. Is that, it sounds like it's genetically engineered, so it does seem to work, but I just do want to caution people to look into it. But maybe we can try just organic oregano, like that, in water, make a tea. You can try that. But in 6 to 8 ounces of water for a few servings over 1 to 2 days. So the goal is to kill off problematic bacteria and try the probiotic drink again. Also, you could use quinoa, and you sprout the quinoa. It can be a day, like 12 hours maybe. I tend to rinse it and have it maybe 24 hours sprouting, but then rinse it again and then add water, maybe let it set for a bit, I don't know, maybe 6 hours, and until it gets just a little cloudy. And then I pour that water off, and I keep that refrigerated, and that's the sprout water I use. And it can be good to make a gallon of it up at a time. So then, I think I heard a recipe for like 1 cup of the quinoa to a gallon of water, and then making that much sprout water. But I pour it out, I separate it from the sprouts, so I feel it keeps a little longer. I'm not sure, but anyway, filtered water you can use. Figure out, this is important for health. Make sure your water is pure. So anyway, figure out how much water, depending on your weight, to have a day. For adults, it could be 8 to 10 cups a day and more, depending on exercise. And then what it is it's half of your weight in ounces. So if your weight was 100 pounds, half of that's 50 ounces. Most people weigh more than that, or adults. But let's say if that was a child. So then you're looking at how many ounces per cup. So 50 ounces, 8 ounce per cup. Figure out about how many cups a day of water that way. So try some antioxidant tea and honey and stevia to sweeten it, and then palm sugar. We may not want to be using palm sugar because it may threaten the African rainforest and orangutan habitat, wherever they're putting these, palm tree plantations up. And then have low sugar, veggie, and fruit juices. Avoid drinks with high fructose corn syrup or any corn derivative ingredients in any foods. There are lots of them. These can be from GMO corn and may reduce one's health. The liver may just coat GMO products and store them in one's body fat. Then also, hemp milk is a healthy, tasty snack drink. Hemp seeds have omega-3 and 6 fatty acids and are soft and small like sesame seeds. They don't have any drug in them. They can be blended with water and honey and stevia sweeteners added. Watch out for milk alternatives that have vitamin D2 instead of D3. Dr. Bernard Jensen found vitamin D2 not to be health promoting. He wrote this in his 1983 book, The Chemistry of Man. So that's something we need to research. Maybe it's changed since then, but add it to soaked chia seeds to feel fuller and for extra omega-3 fatty acids and bone strengthening nutrients. One of those is boron that chia seeds have. So here's some more suggestions for health. Some have found that rooibos tea may be beneficial and may provide immune support. Do some research about it. Ask a pharmacist about doses of herbs for immune health. Some have the book Prescription for Nutrition. Support the small companies like Tea Vantage. They may have amazing health promoting varieties, including rooibos tea. And organize an online tea party gathering. There's a Zoom.com and Google Meets, maybe other forums to boost everyone's immune system. Because just really connecting with socially helps your immune system. It's probably even better in person. Social distancing, even with masks and maybe not too many people, but anyways, don't forget to care for the social aspect of things. And then natural medicine to have ready if you need it. Many have found it good to have a very small jar of oil of oregano P73 around, about 2 to 3 drops in about 6 ounces of water a few times a day for a few days is supposed to be effective in killing 99% of viruses and bacteria. Check into it. A researcher claimed to have helped a woman win over the SARS virus, the original one, in around 2002 or 3, by helping her have the few drops in water every 3 hours for 3 days. Remember to take probiotics, beneficial bacteria, after killing off the good as well as the bad bacteria with oregano or any antibiotics. So the probiotics, that's the sprout water, and there are tablets. There, like I said, you can get them in other foods, but they can. Some of those are, I don't know if they're genetically engineered, and if they give you gas, then just kill it off and start over with. To me, the sprout water was the safe one. And also, raw sauerkraut is another way to get good probiotics. there, I have it here. Raw fermented cabbage and other raw fermented vegetables have probiotics, which means good bacteria, and are great for intestinal health. Also, kale juice or kale powder is health promoting. Some mix it with orange juice to make it tastier. Some make kale chips by toasting kale in the oven for a few minutes. Avocado oil works good at high temperatures. Cauliflower also has beneficial properties if fresh and not cooked. It has fluorine, which hardens dental enamel and defends against viruses, according to Bernard Jensen, PhD in the chemistry of man. And then exercise. A brisk 30-minute walk most days with gently stretching before and after is great for blood flow to the brain, as well as keeping our immune system strong. It is also helpful to move one's arms, like with big circles, jumping gently or on a mini trampoline. So the mini trampoline has about a 3-foot diameter. They can be like $25 sometimes. I've seen them at Fred Meyer. Anyway, this gets the lymph system, the lymph cells, the immune defense system's attack cells circulating. Even to bounce for 5 minutes now and then can be very helpful. Hold on to something if you don't have good balance, or even sitting and bouncing will help some. The lymph system parallels with the main vessels in the body, and you have to move to get these white blood cells moving, to get them to be where they need to be at the right time. Okay, so bonus health suggestions for people with neurological problems. This is just something kind of different, completely different than the COVID thing, but I just throwing it in here because so many people have neurological problems, and I just want to say that two believers believe that this is a message from God, that people with neurological issues, we think like cerebral palsy, autism, ALS, MS, that's multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, can rebuild the myelin sheath. This protects nerves. It's just like it's a sheath around the nerves. And we think that if they can rebuild the myelin sheath if they take the recommended daily allowance of beta-carotene plus 1 to 2 capsules of chondroitin from shark cartilage. And then leave a comment below if you try this and it works, or you can also leave a comment at etsy.com/shop/EcoPeace Productions. And then it seems we might also encourage fast food places and restaurants to serve side dishes with the RDA of beta-carotene, since some people eat lots of food at these places. Also, it won't like if they could add a few, even if they wouldn't deep fry them, but like some fries or baked fries from like yams or sweet potatoes, or add a few fresh carrots in, if people are going to eat these fast food meals. If the places, there could be like a law that they just can ask the people, would you like some free yam or sweet potato fries or free carrots, and then a lot of people might say yes, just to help people get more of these nutrients that they might not be getting in the United States. And then maybe having beta-carotene and more green veggies in our diets can help reduce neurological problems for new generations. Okay. So this presentation didn't have music in it, but look up, you can look these up. Trevor Rowe, acoustic music for song, tro, no copyright. Anyway, these are songs and these are the frequencies that I found they had. And it's a hypothesis that these might be helpful if people, they might help some nutrients maybe people don't have. So, just some suggestions there. Strengthen your body by studying about nutrition and strong immune systems. Take helpful, necessary nutrients before getting sick. Fight first symptoms boldly. And then I'm curious to know if suggestions in this video seem to help you with your recovery. And also, you can leave me a comment below or at etsy.com/shop/EcoPeace Productions. You can subscribe to this channel if this is on EcoPeace Vision channel, or the other channel, which is EcoPeace Christian _space Linda. And then welcome to listen to more of my productions on. There's a lot of links via ecopeacevision.wordpress.com. That'll get you also to my blog and my audio blog and my written blog, and it gives links to my two channels, my two YouTube channels. So thanks for listening and good luck. And I want to say one other thing, that I hope that we can have natural health departments in each state that can educate people about this sort of thing. So that's just something to work for in each state and nationally. And I'm curious if we can do research with we might need a complete separate department in the National Institute of Health, or maybe, some other director that's really focused on the natural health solutions. I'm curious, what if people could get over polio in the early stages of it with nutrients? Or, so these are things, or even if they already have polio and other neurological things, do some of these suggestions help people get better? It would sure be nice if we could all move forward in a direction of health, of having strong immune systems. And so that way we don't have to keep doing the vaccines. Maybe stop doing the vaccines and just everybody just focus on being healthy. So that's one possibility there. I feel we need research, but whether people got vaccines or not, everybody seems to benefit from this sort of approach to trying to get healthy earlier if they do get some symptoms. Okay, thanks for listening.